his video, or did you lose him?
No, I'm here.
Hey, oh, yeah, the privacy shield.
Yeah. Look, it wasn't about it. I know from that understanding, well, you probably do too. In that PC in there, it's a little warm. It's like having space here right next to
And with this latest 14th gen Intel chips, this thing is blasting out heat like it's its job. Winter will be nice.
Yeah.
You guys ever listen to Louis Black?
Oh, yeah.
I have not.
He does this bit where he's got a show in the Poconos, and he's going to do the show, and he brings his parents over. And the only available hotels they have like romantic hotels with like heart-shaped tubs and shit like that. So they're stocked up with romantic. Holds up the bowl of whipped cream and she goes, "What the hell is this for?" And the father, without missing a beat, goes, "It's for my balls." So I tell you all that because I bought a fan that's directly under my desk that's pointing straight at my balls. So my wife, one day, she was in my studio, she was like, "What's that fan for?" And she's like, "What do you talk about?" And then I say the AD device in front of me. Fan makes.
When I was on that messenger call with you the other day, I was very impressed by your voice, just turning on everything in your house. I was like, holy shit.
I have to control everything. And you know what? And you know what? The thing is, it's not even like I'm lazy enough. It's just the way my apartment is mapped out. It's hard to get to some like turn on kitchen light. Alexa, turn off kitchen light. So, like, I say, good night, and it instantly turns off my TV lights, my living room, all the lights in my house, and then it starts Pandora on my Alexa in there, turns on Alexa, everything.
There's a routine that I saw, and it was Alexa, intruder, and you hear Shrek go, "Get out of my swamp!" And his face,
What I want to do, which I'm trying to figure out how to do it, is because I have the goal light for hockey. Did I ever show that to you, Jeremy?
No.
Oh, hold on. I'll be right back.
I remember you saying about it before, where you had something. You could hear it in the past, in a couple of the podcasts in the past, but I never saw it.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Programmed it to be able to mute my mic. If I mute my mic, I know you said you're using the Yeti.
Yes.
Not sure if yours is the same one as mine, but it has the mute button on it. But every time I use it, it clicks on my audio, which is now something I have to remove. So I just made a button on my stream deck that will remove that mutes my mic when to do sounds. I'm just trying to find ways to be efficient and not hits other things.
Alexa, turn on right light.
Alright, there it is. Oh, that thing's legit.
Okay, so I'm gonna warn you both. It's going to be loud, so prepare your ears. So, I want to upgrade this using devices, and because that can recognize certain sounds. Like if it recognizes your dog barking, it will play soothing music for half an hour to calm the dog down, stuff like that. So I want Rich when he hears that throughout the house, when the lights start flashing, it doesn't recognize that sound.
So every time they score, that just goes off?
My wife thinks this thing because back in 2014 when they were in the finals, 3 or 4 of those games it doesn't. So it would often like 2 o'clock, especially when they were playing in LA and the game started later.
That's awesome.
I love this. They've upgraded it now, so like you can put different sports on it. So like you can, in football or baseball, when they score, it goes off. But to me, it's a hockey thing. I have a really good game screen like that.
Oh, you're a Yankee fan.
I'm getting a lot of hate.
Although I shouldn't be like openly showing people that I'm a Red Sox fan or any kind of Boston sports fan lately.
I'm kind of hoping the Mets make it, so it's an even Yankees win, because I don't want to face the Dodgers.
What is that 3-1 or is that 2? Oh, it's a 3. I knew that the Yankees. That team for my entire life has just been so hateable. I'm sorry, man. Yes.
Series in 15 years.
Right.
So like, shut the fuck up. And I'm like, now, and I say this as a fan, but I also understand how this is going to come across. The Yankees probably could have made it to the championship a couple years ago if the Astros weren't cheating.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I'll agree with you.
So, it's just, it's like, oh, you can't say the Yankees, you can't say the Giants, you can't. What's wrong?
They were more hateable than they had. I mean, we're going back a little bit, but
Yeah.
oh god, man.
To be honest, I was never an A-Rod fan. And I even made the joke. I said, it's just ironic that Jeter's retiring the year A-Rod's coming back.
Yeah, Jeter, I never had a problem with.
Jeter's always a classic.
Yep. One of my best friends is a Devils fan.
See, here's the fun part about me and other sports fans. I watch it because I enjoy watching the sport. I just happen to be a Devils fan. I could care less. I couldn't care less the politics behind the scenes, exactly how I feel.
I go down to, I'm about an hour from Hershey, PA. So I go see the Hershey Bears play all the time. It's the AHL affiliate of the Capitals, and I hate the Capitals. But I still go down there. It's a good time. And their AHL team's really good. How is it called? With the Golden Cup? Those are the Golden Cup every single year.
I lived in Virginia. I watched the Norfolk Admirals all the time, and the Norfolk Admirals, at the time, I think were the affiliate of the Blackhawks. I think.
I've definitely seen the Bears play them, but I couldn't tell you.
Well, the Norfolk Admirals now are an ECHL team because the Ducks bought the AHL team and moved them to San Jose. So they went back to ECHL. But in all the years they went from ECHL to AHL, they were there for a while, and then they jumped back down to the ECHL. But if I ever go to Virginia and there's a game from it, I go watch it because I guarantee you there's not one bad seat in that stadium. And the cheapest ticket is like $50.
Yeah, they're very good.
When I go to hockey, I always like sitting up because I don't like sitting at the glass. I like seeing the entire ice.
Alex lately.
I'm trying to call him. I talked to him like 45 minutes ago. He was playing Ghostbusters with Michael. Did he text anything? Yes, sir. We're trying to call you, sir. Somebody's got the stream up.
Yeah, it's my bad.
No, just saying I can hear us. Alex, can you hear us?
Tricky.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you now. My microphone is set to or my headphones are set to the microphone, to the blue Yeti, which I don't know why it does that. That's annoying. But
Okay.
Yeah,
Are
I
you
can hear you
camera? No camera.
you're editing, so I'm gonna let you decide that.
Turn the camera on.
All right, give me a second.
You better hope that doesn't go off and gets quiet.
Oh, it definitely is.
I will be replacing that.
Why? It's a staple of the show now.
Oh, I will introduce a new staple of the show.
please send me this email so I can reset my password, all while trying to give the cat medicine that she spit out first, so I had to redraw it and then give it to her again. So
There's a pussy joke in there, but I'm not gonna make it.
probably for the best, because it'd probably be not because it's inappropriate, because it'd be terrible, because it's you telling a joke, Tricky.
Well, I mean, pussy have yeast infection. I mean, it sells itself. Wow. I got one smile, 15 weird stare.
That's just Jeremy. Guaranteed you wouldn't. I mean, you probably
And she probably throws something at my head.
that's why you got some brain damage. You can toss the stuff at
Looks like I told you many times. I thought about her being creepy. Guess what? That starts cursing me out with grief. I don't know what you're saying.
you. You know, I'm gonna send her for her birthday. I'm gonna send her a big crate of tomatoes so she can throw them at you every time you tell a shitty joke.
That would be on like a day.
Well,
We good to go.
I don't know. Are we?
Everybody.
Yep. I'm good to go. Yep.
You are listening to Trophy Horse with your hosts, Ricky Nick, Alex, I Yield to No One, Sid, and Angler Phoenix.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Trophy Wars. This is episode 644. I'm your host, Tricky Rick. Alongside with me, the man, the myth, the legend. It's Alex.
Everyone, tell me if you've heard this classic. Bustin' makes me feel good.
He's the man that doesn't care about trophies. It's Matt.
I do care about a lot of things, but yes, I don't care about trophies. But
Unless we're talking about trophy sound waves, because there are some trophy sound waves out there. Some real
I got a couple trophy sound waves up there.
nice action figures there. Yeah.
There's a couple on my grail list that I'm still trying to get.
We don't have yield again, so like I'm scrambling right now because I forgot to update the trophies. Did anybody update trophies?
I updated mine.
You know Matt didn't, and you know Jeremy didn't, and you know I didn't. So if you gotta ask, you probably know the answer.
Wow. All right. So I'm gonna scramble a little bit. We do have a guest back for the second week in a row. He may be a shitty hockey fan, but you know we liked him as a guest last week. So Jeremy, how you doing, buddy?
Doing all right. I don't really appreciate you saying that, though.
Hold on, wait a minute. Didn't you guys agree, come together in a union over your dislike of Pittsburgh? Why is he a shitty hockey fan?
Because he's a Boston fan. Everything.
Look, I could say a lot. I mean, I found out a few minutes ago that you're also a Yankees fan, which is just completely ridiculous. So,
How is it ridiculous?
well, where did you grow up? Were you born into it, though?
I was born in Staten Island, New York.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, that makes more sense than me being a Boston fan, but I was born into that too. Like, I didn't have a choice growing up, so.
Tricky in Star Wars. Tricky would work for the Empire since he's a Yankees fan, as we all know the Yankees and what they're all about.
Mm.
Evil Empire of baseball. That's what I say. Also, I love how Tricky just hates anyone who's not a Rangers fan. He doesn't like the Island. You don't like the Devils. You don't like the Islanders. You don't like you were shitting on the Utah team the other day, and now Jeremy likes the Boston fans who are not even. Or he's a Boston fan.
Speaking of which, I have a bone to pick with Mr. Matthew Grinelli over there. Matthew Grinelli, you did me wrong last week. He's just not going to answer.
He's stupefied. He didn't even know what you're talking about.
So we started this whole initiative on the show to try to be more personable, talk more about what we're doing and how our lives are going. And
Man, that's
about
boring.
the news. And I tried to share a part of my life last week, and Matt cut me off. So, Matt, you have to answer for your crimes right now.
Wait, what you talk about the hockey talk part?
Yeah, the hockey. Did you say hockey talk?
Hockey talk. No,
Yeah.
first of all, I also cut you off because we weren't going to get on a 12, 20-minute tirade on the hockey.
Why not?
Because I was editing. You want to do that this week on your time? You can, not on my time.
Wow. I can't believe. So, Matt had Cry Me a River.
Are we not at that part of the
No, we're not at that
podcast yet? Oh, okay.
So, do you want to answer for your crime, sir?
Sure.
He said, sure. I didn't know we had. Never mind.
I think it's tricky that he needs to answer for his crimes because notice last week he was trying to, get Jeremy on his side when he's talking about the Rangers and how they've been done wrong. And notice I'm using air quotes on that. And this week he stabs Jeremy in the back as soon as he can.
Jeremy, you saw the video. Was that goaltender interference?
It in my opinion, it was not goaltender interference.
There you go. See?
Jeremy, he's going to turn his back on you again. He'll come to you when he needs you, and then he'll stab you in the back any other time.
So can we go
Heel
back
tactics.
to this entire thing? Number one, thank you, MZ, being in chat saying I did absolutely nothing wrong. Please enlighten me, Tricky, because I am flabbergasted.
Enlighten you on what?
What I did wrong.
You cut off me talking about my life and my what I went through that week, my emotional damage of the week.
You know what's cutting off? You know what's cutting off your life, Tricky? That
The
cigarette that you just lit up.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're going to talk and try to, get everyone on your side, maybe you should take the cigarette out of your mouth first and spit out your pleas.
All right. Before we get too deep into the show, I have the musical challenge for you, gentlemen. I don't think Jeremy, I didn't tell you to get a piece of paper. Do you have it handy?
I do not.
Okay, so we'll do it like if you didn't have your camera off. Alex and Matt, write down your answers. Hold them up without revealing your answer, Alex. And then, Jeremy, you will go. So,
Okay.
Here, Jeremy, whisper the answer to me, and I'll write it down for both of us.
Sounds good. I got you.
Okay, so I have 2 challenges this week because I focus test the first one, and nobody got it right. So I think it might be a little too hard. All right, gentlemen, ready?
Yep.
Here we go.
Oh, I know this. Oh, yeah.
All right, Matt, you didn't even look like you were trying to attempt to write anything down. All right, Matt, do you have a guess or no?
Nope.
All right, Jeremy, what is your answer, sir?
Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Wow, Alex.
Yeah.
Wow, you two are literally the only ones that got it.
The problem was
one
I
did catch on
recognized.
right away.
Go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I recognized the theme. Couldn't place it.
All right, just for shits and giggles, let's try the second one. You guys ready? All right. Jeremy shaking his head. Alex, do you have any clue what that was?
I got no clue.
Matt, any clue?
No.
Okay, I'll give you a hint. It's an 80s TV show theme song.
Charles in Charge.
No.
Perfect Strangers?
No.
Yeah, I don't even have a guess. That one stumped me.
Okay, when I give you the next clue, you all should probably get it. The lead actor was Richard Dean Anderson.
No, what?
Wait. Let me make sure I'm actually right on that. Hold on.
Yeah, that doesn't help me out at all either.
Yeah, Richard Dean Anderson was the main actor.
Yeah, well, sorry, Richard. We don't know what you acted in.
Wow. Okay, maybe I should have went with that one first. That one I knew instantly. All right.
Growing Pains.
No.
Family Ties.
All right. One more clue. It was a show about building things with unordinary things.
These are the shittiest clues ever.
Wow. All right. The answer was MacGyver.
You know, I cannot even tell you the last time I watched MacGyver or heard that song.
Hey, and something actually interesting. MZ Nitro wishes your dad a happy birthday, Alex.
That was interesting. I can't believe you guys didn't get MacGyver.
Do I look like somebody who watches MacGyver?
Yes. If old people, I thought you would get that one.
Did you say of old people? You thought he would get that one?
Of all people.
Did you say of bald people?
I do want to say thank you to Nitro for wishing my dad a happy birthday there. Big number 70.
Nitro, did you know that? Watch him go. I knew it all the time. All right. At this
Nitro was not alive when MacGyver was on.
MacGyver ended in what year did it end? 1992.
It's okay. I can confidently say that because usually when we make references to something from the early 90s or 80s, Nitro has no idea what it is, or a lot of times he doesn't. So
Nitro said, "No, I'm not old like you, Tricky."
See, there you go. Told you.
92, I was 5.
I was 12.
God, it ended in 92. That is, damn. I was 7.
Matt,
Actually, I was 7. Yeah,
I was 10.
So you
Do the
all
math.
see it.
I mean, I do remember MacGyver, but I mean, anytime I saw it come on, it was a rerun.
All right, so updated scores: Matt 1, Jeremy 2, Alex 2.
Wait. I have more than 2.
I'm taking the point away from you
Why?
because you said I'm old.
I refuse to do this challenge anymore. If you're gonna cheat me, if you're gonna screw me out of points, I ain't doing this no more.
This is like whose line is it anyway? The points are made up.
I'm boycotting.
Nitro says he was 3 years old in 92, so of course he wouldn't remember that, and he has not seen MacGyver. All right. Shall we move on to show proper?
Matt, the show is yours.
As is tradition. Updated trophy counts, gentlemen. Tricky.
I am level 958. I actually don't know because I didn't update mine. Like a jackass. 958 total trophies of 33,804, which is not accurate. Hold on.
Wait, which of these did you update?
I updated everybody's except for Jeremy's and Matt's because Matt doesn't change. I am level 959 total trophies of 32,827 with 976 platinums.
Alex?
Yes, sir. Level 510, total trophy count of 10,202, and a platinum count of 180 and 179 games. For those counted at home, it's a brand new platinum.
I make no illusions if Yield's numbers are not correct, but what he had here last was level 518 with 10,598 trophies and 197 platinums. And guess what, motherfuckers? I did earn trophies this week. And not only did I earn trophies, I went up a level. So I went to level 221, and I'm now at 1,323 trophies. So suck it, Fox.
I don't know how we can say Matt doesn't care about trophies when he's level 221.
Because you could
that's
sneeze,
way up there. That's way
you
up
could
there.
sneeze and get level 221.
Well, whatever. In Sony's jacked up weird world, but I'm assuming he got those in Astrobot.
Maybe you'll hear about it when I discuss what I've been playing.
I better hear about when we discuss what we've been playing.
Sid is level 120, 340 trophies, 4 platinums, probably the same as last week, so probably not updated either. Jeremy, your updated trophy count, sir.
Level 406, trophies 6365, platinum count of 53.
Was that?
It looks like a game from last week. Got 3 more trophies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey.
and I will admit they were not earned by me. I bought a game for my son,
Wow.
and he I always tell him, I'm like, I will put it on my account, but you play it on your, because we do the shared console thing. So yeah, he earned me a few trophies, I believe. Yeah.
Was it you that a couple months ago I explained how to work the shared console with?
That was you.
I know I had a conversation with somebody about that fairly recently. I'm like, was that Jeremy I did that with?
That was me. Yeah.
I worked him through because he was worried he was going to lose all his content.
Well, what we didn't lose is Saber. Saber's back in the chat, and he is saying salmon patties.
Okay.
Sure.
I don't eat seafood, but okay.
All right.
Wait, Tricky, you don't ever want some nice shrimp and grits?
I do not like in any shape or form seafood at all. The most seafood I'll eat is tuna fish.
Hey, you know what? At least we know that Tricky didn't contribute to the Red Lobster bankruptcy.
Well, technically he did if he didn't eat there.
Well, yeah, but it was all the people going to eat all you can eat shrimp, right? Like the shrimp fest and whatnot. That was what caused it.
There was actually a nice YouTube video out there talking about the many failures of Red Lobster. But we are not here to talk about Red Lobsters and their failings as a restaurant. We are here to talk about...
Did you hear about the controversy with your favorite restaurant, Alex? Olive Garden?
You mean the restaurant that I've been to once in the last 20 years because my girlfriend wanted to go?
Apparently there's a controversy now because people are apparently going in and getting the all-you-can-eat breadsticks and chips and ordering a water and leaving no tips for their servers.
Wait, chips? No, you mean the breadsticks and salad.
Salad, sorry, salad. Breadsticks.
The only controversy should be how delicious that salad is. I mean, I can't believe that's just a thing now. As soon as they introduced that thing, why wouldn't... I don't know. I would expect people to do that right away. Although when we did go, we got to choose either salad or breadsticks with our meal. So Ashley got breadsticks and I got salad, and it was like an endless supply for both of us, but we had to order them as part of our meal. So maybe that is Olive Garden's way of combating this.
Maybe.
But yeah, I mean, with that dressing, that heavy dressing and that bread, you fill up real fast on that. Get a nice, easy meal.
Well, just like Olive Garden, when you're here on Trophy Horrors, you're family, and family tells us what we've been playing. So, Jeremy, why don't you go ahead and tell us what you've been playing this past week?
Well, it hasn't been a crazy week. All I've been playing is more Silent Hill 2 remake. Playing that on Steam, playing that on the PC, and I remember we talked last week about how I hadn't run into any of the stutters, but I stand corrected because once I got to a certain area in the game, I feel like it really ramped up. So I'm waiting for an update on that. I mean, it hasn't really broken me to the point where it's made the game less fun, but it's definitely noticeable now.
I have to admit that I forgot our conversation from last week. So when he said the stutters, I thought he meant monsters, just these. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, that sounds terrifying. And tell me more, Jeremy. But no, he meant the stutters and the visuals. Okay,
it's actually a PC player's greatest fear, micro stutters.
Honestly, yeah.
Wait till you get to those macro stutters. Oh my God.
I tell you, it's not completely game breaking. I can still play just fine. but I do notice when it happens in particularly bad areas. And I don't think it's anything developers can really fix. It's an issue with the Unreal 5 engine. It's been noted in all types of games that have Unreal 5 as the engine for their game. And it's almost expected that it's there at launch. I think they make it better over time. And I remember when Elden Ring came out, it actually played better on the Steam Deck because the way it was on Windows. So that said, I hope it isn't too distracting for you to continue playing. But
no, honestly, like I got to a certain part of the game where you're in like the dark. I think it's one of the apartment buildings or something like that. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
You crossed over to the other world.
Yes, and in there it's pretty noticeable. But again, like once you leave the other world and you get back out into the more open areas, then it's definitely less noticeable. It's really bad in that area, though, for sure.
I actually noticed it less on my end in there because it wasn't as wide open. There wasn't as much to load.
Interesting.
But it definitely, again, maybe I was too busy pissing my pants trying to get from room to room. But I'm past that part now. And I would say, for the most part, I got through the apartment building without noticing it too much.
That's interesting for sure.
Matt, I think you just came up with a brilliant marketing thing there, talking about pissing your pants, trying to get away from these creatures. The collector's edition with washable diapers. That way you can wear them while you game.
Did you, do you remember the old Dead Space ads where they talked about, you're going to soil yourself or something like there was some scary game back then that had ads to that degree.
I mean,
sorry.
Dead Space is the best survival horror game of all time, so I'm willing to chalk it up to that.
Okay. What else, Jeremy? We cut you off.
Oh no, that's honestly all I've had time to really get to. Coming back from vacation and stuff, it was just kind of me getting back into the feel of working a third shift schedule again. So I mean, I really haven't had a ton of time, but yeah, that's been it, man. Just Silent Hill 2.
Did you get the gun yet?
I did. Yep.
Okay. I noticed the game got a lot more manageable.
Yeah,
I got that.
Yeah.
The dual leg mannequins were really the pain when it came to defending myself when they arrived on scene, but the gun has significantly improved my survivability around them.
I don't know. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, Jeremy. I was going to ask you guys, does that, because obviously when you throw a gun into the mix, survival horror, when you're defenseless, it kind of makes it scarier. So how do they balance giving you a gun with still keeping the creepy theme? Because if you can shoot monsters, if you can kill them or take them out, that can take off some of the edge. So how do they balance that with the gun? Is it limited ammo? Is it just a weaker pistol?
I was gonna comment actually there and say that I'm surprised by how much ammo I've found. I don't know if that's a difficulty based thing or what. I mean, I'm just playing on standard, but I definitely have a surplus of ammo too. So
I found I had a significant portion of ammo to get through most of the stuff I needed to. There were times I started running low and I started balancing. All right, I'll shoot it to get it on the ground, then I'll start whacking away with it with the nail board. But they do give you a significant amount. But then I also had to remember, spoiler alert, there's a certain boss in this game that you get to in the apartments, and I remembered that from the original game, shooting it was not the way. So now I'm back to a point where they gave you ammo during the fight and I didn't use it because I remembered, all right, let me see if this works. And indeed it did. And as a result, I'm now going on to the next section with a nice little surplus of ammo.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And yeah, I made the mistake of using a bunch of my ammo and then getting killed, and then going back, and I'm kind of glad that I did die, because then I went back and did it a different way, and now I have a lot more. I left that area with a lot more pistol ammunition, so.
According to Saber, he says, we don't know what scary is. Try dating a woman that has 3 kids.
Oh,
I
God.
guess.
No,
all right.
man.
If that is all you've been playing, Jeremy, Alex, we can move on to you.
Most excellent. Been playing. It's Haunted Hallows is here in Rocket League, one of my favorite events of the year, and I got to say, I'm pretty disappointed with this year. I think they kind of dropped the ball. So, as some people guessed, Venom was one of the characters that the themes they guessed for potential Haunted Hallows, and they were right. Except it's more Spider-Man, including Venom. And for me, the event, the event, and the rewards are fine. But you could have done this event any time of the year. You could have done it as a big summer blockbuster movie event or something like that. It doesn't feel Halloweeny in the least. And I've seen multiple people comment on that. So it doesn't feel like a Halloween event. It just feels like another Marvel crossover, which is incredibly disappointing because, again, Haunted Hallows is one of the things they usually hit out of the park. They started in 2019 with Stranger Things. They did Ghostbusters. They did Batman, Gotham City, yes, another superhero. And I know people will probably say, well, Alex, for Halloween, people dress up as superheroes and Spider-Man and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you got a point there. But also, again, this is not a particularly...
Scary.
What?
It's supposed to be scary, not...
Yeah, and so, I mean, the event's fine. It's just, it's the right event, the wrong time of the year, or the wrong event for the right time of the year, however you want to think of that. But yeah, that's my big disappointment because they've done so many other good ones. They did... Icons of Horror in 2022, Nightmare Before Christmas last year, and just honestly, one I thought they could do that would be really good because of how popular the franchise is, Five Nights at Freddy's. That would be an easy out of the park home run for them. I'm not a huge fan of the series, but you could come up with a lot of good rewards for that. You could come with some good goal scores. So I really think that they kind of dropped the ball on this year, but it is what it is. At least the seasonal, the Rocket Pass season 16, a lot of the rewards are like, they've got like a chupacabra that sits on top of your car. They've got like skull wheels. They've got a Mothman that sits on the top of a light for an antenna. So I mean, they've got a lot of creepy Halloween stuff. So the season pass rewards for this year for season 16 have to save the day because those are far more Halloweeny than the Haunted Hallows. But I have also been playing and finished, got the platinum trophy in Still Wakes the Deep, which is a very creepy game that kind of keeps you on your toes. Overall, I enjoyed the game. 2 minor quibbles, and one of them is about trophies. They have trophies in there that like die in all the ways that you can to electrical hazards, or die all the ways that you can in the game. So they have trophies in there that encourage you to die to earn them, but the point of the game is to not die. So it's like I was playing wild card football before this, and it's like playing a football game and be like, don't play these next 5 games, but don't score and get shut out and lose. It's like, why would I do that? That's completely nonsensical. So, I mean, overall, that doesn't affect the game. It's just the trophies. But whenever developers put in those weird trophies that make you go the opposite goal of the game, it always is kind of like a head scratcher. The other quibble is with the final, well, I shouldn't say final boss, but I was kind of disappointed when I got to the end. There is an entity, yes, that is causing all of this, wreaking this havoc that you do have to take care of. But I was kind of hoping something. I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember, but I don't know if you guys ever saw it, Deep Rising, where they're, ship filling up with water, and you find out it's like a giant monstrous creature that they have to kill or, escape or whatever. I kind of wanted something like a giant creature. And it's just not that. Like I said, there is something. I don't want to spoil it, but I was kind of disappointed that there wasn't like the monster movie creature feature thing at the very end that you had to deal with. But again, like the enemies in this game, unconventional. You don't defend yourself. You just run and hide and try to escape them. So I guess in the context of the game, it makes more sense. But yeah, so I got the platinum trophy in that. Enjoyed that. And then last night I started playing with Yield and Nitro. We probably played for 3-4 hours last night. Tricky joined us for a few games, but then he had to abandon us to go watch the Yankees play baseball, whatever. While we saved New York City, he was watching the Yankees. Go figure.
To win the American League pennant for the first time in 15 years.
Yeah, imagine spending all that money on talent, and you this is the first time you win in 15 years.
Oh my God. Can you come up with a unique insult? Because I've been hearing that for 20 years.
Yeah, because it's accurate. Wait, you've been hearing it for 20 years when it's been the last 15 years? It's tricky. That math don't add up. But
it's actually when Actually, no, shit. Holy shit, it's been 30 years.
See, there you go. You just made it worse.
Since
That's why you hear it all the time. Anyway, so Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. We talked about the game a little bit last week. Yield is not here again to we were hoping he was going to explain it last week, but he wasn't here. So I can, with some time sunk into the game, I definitely can expound upon it more. Yeah, it's multiplayer focused. You get 4 Ghostbusters going to a location and you essentially bust ghosts. There's a main ghost that haunts the area, and you basically have to destroy all the rifts. There are 3 rifts which allow the ghosts to kind of come back into our world if you catch them. So if you catch a ghost, get in the trap, they can still come through the rifts. So you got to destroy the rifts. There's usually 3 in every area. And then you got to bust the ghost, the main ghost, who can summon minions and do all these little special things. But yeah, it's essentially that. You multiplayer, go and just hunt down a ghost. They've got some really cool locations. Just being at the firehouse, having the firehouse as your hub where you can like change the look of your character, upgrade your gear. That's all very cool. And they have Ray's occult shop next door, which is it adds to the presentation. I really like it. But all the levels, there's like a luxury liner, like a cruise ship level. There's a museum level. There's like kind of like a cabin lodge level. There's also like a fun zone level. It's kind of like Five Nights at Freddy's, where there's like there's like animatronics. There's like bowling alleys. It's really cool. So I enjoy the levels that you go into. They're a lot of fun to play in, and just like really just fun to walk around and discover. And most of my time has been playing as the Ghostbusters, which is you and friends, or in this case, if you don't have any friends to play with, you can matchmake online. So you can set a private match with friends, or you can do matchmaking online. So it'll just throw you in a random game with people across the world, or you can play with bots. It can be you and 3 other bots, and so you don't have to have anybody to play with. You can play multiple ways, which is nice that they gave people options. But the other side of that is playing as a ghost. And essentially, the ghost, I liked playing as the Ghostbusters because I like the cooperation of that, the teamwork. I don't necessarily like playing on my own against multiple other people, kind of like the competitive. I'm not super competitive, except maybe when it comes to like Rocket League. I get kind of competitive with that. But in most cases, I would rather play cooperatively than competitively against people. And so I just enjoy the whole Ghostbuster thing of hunting down the ghost and saving the day. Whereas the ghost, you're mostly you're haunting the area. You're trying to fill up a meter to where the entire area is haunted. And if you do that, you win, the Ghostbusters lose. So you do that by going around scaring people. You have special moves that you can trigger that once you use them, there's a cooldown time for each, depending on how powerful they are. You also have energy that you can use to use those powers, but then you have to regain that power basically by possessing objects and hiding, and allowing your powers to regenerate to where you can use special powers again. There's also basic attacks like a screech or like a scratch or something like that, where you can cover people with slime. So there's all different kinds of tricks you can do with the ghost. You can short circuit the energy or the packs that the Ghostbusters use, the proton packs, to kind of make them do a mini game to kind of recollect or to collect themselves to get back into the game. But the ghost one, it's mostly hiding, being more sneaky, which, if you've listened to any amount of Trophy Horse, I'd rather go in guns blazing. I like the action more than the sneaking. So I prefer playing as the Ghostbusters. The ghost aspect of it does make it unique, but if it wasn't for trophies, I probably wouldn't play the ghost aspect of it. So, but in general, I like the presentation of it. The gameplay is fun. And, Yield hasn't been out here to say it, but he's told us all that playing with friends is a lot more fun. So, get on a headset. Me and Nitro were playing a little bit earlier, just chatting with friends and kind of coordinating to catch the ghost and close the rifts. It's a lot of fun. So I enjoy Spirits Unleashed quite a bit, and I'm going to be playing it until I get the Platinum Trophy. Perfect Halloween game, So.
Now, sorry if I missed it, but are there different versions of ghosts you can be?
Yes. I've only played as one ghost, but you can go up against different types of ghosts. There's all these different ghosts that you can play when you're a Ghostbuster, and I assume that you can change the ghost that you are. I've seen the option where you can change which ghost you can be, and basically go around and wreak havoc. So you can catch different ghosts, but you can also, I assume, play as different ghosts as well.
That's what I was wondering, if different ghosts have different powers or different abilities that change up the way the game is played.
Like I said, I've only played as one, so I don't know what it's like playing as them. But in general, with the Ghostbusters, you really don't notice a ton of difference in between the. I mean, yes, they look very different. They all have different names, and they're very different in their physical appearance. I guess I shouldn't say physical appearance; their ethereal appearance. But as far as their powers, when you're playing as a Ghostbuster, you really don't notice it too much. But I would assume maybe that if you play as a ghost, it might be different. But then again, it may just be what they look like. It's different.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's pretty much all I have been. Well, I guess I played a little bit of Helldivers there to upgrade my ship. The ship modules.
Yeah, you did.
I got one more ship module to upgrade to, and I'm sure by the time I do that, they'll release 5 more. And be like, well, shit. but yeah, mostly Rocket League, the Haunted Hallows, doing my Platinum Trophy run in Still Wakes the Deep, and last but not least, Spirits Unleashed, Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed with the group. So, and I did see Mr. Joseph Priestley playing it today. So there are plenty of people in the community that are playing that game. So if anyone out there wants to play Spirits Unleashed, you could find a group. You can definitely join in and bust ghosts with us.
You're not listening, but we don't talk about him. We don't mention his name.
I just did. Mr. TMNT 84, 1984. Is that his name?
Because he was supposed to be on this week's show, but he decided, I can't come on the show. I got to watch my Mets lose to the Dodgers.
We were playing games last night, and you went and said, oh, I got to go watch the Yankees play.
But I'm here for the show, aren't I?
You the show you run, the show you host. This isn't the show that Joseph Priestley hosts.
I'm not hosting the show. Matt is. I could have easily.
You opened up the show. You introduced everybody.
I could easily pull an Alex and just not pay attention to the show and just play video games the entire time because Matt's.
I'm not playing video games. Look at me. I'm dead ahead. I've got 2 eyes on this camera.
That's a welcome change. So normally you're dead left looking at wild card football as you're playing.
Well, yeah, when I'm trying to get the Platinum Trophy in that.
You can take the time to do the show.
Which I am.
I appreciate
Also, I'd like to point out, Tricky, that I'm typically on more shows than you are, so.
Well, I just want to bring up a very good point that MZ brings up in the chat, and he says, let's go Devils and screw the Rangers. With that being said...
Hey, hold on, Nitro, are we playing Ghostbusters after this?
With that being said, Tricky, regale us with what you've been playing this week.
I started playing Ghostbusters Unleashed, as Alex says. I was getting annoyed with the game because it is first person, and I am not a first person fan. But it seems like I can deal with this because it's not high level combat. So, and Alex MZ says yes.
Yeah, but I mean, also Tricky. I mean, it is nice because even if you're not the best at the game, you do have, friends or people that can help you. It's not like you're out there on your own.
Right. Well, I'm looking at my stats on PSN profiles right now, and I don't think the game is tracking right unless I'm just not doing it right. Because it says I only helped destroy 1 of 30 rifts. I didn't discover any rifts, which I know I did. I didn't capture any ghosts, which I know I did. And it says I didn't destroy any minions, which I know I did.
So wait, hold on. Are you sure? Because it has to go into your trap. Everyone has their own trap, and
there was a time where Yield threw out.
Are you sure it went down in your trap?
Yield said there was a time he threw out a trap, and his trap expired, and it went into my trap.
Okay, and the rifts you have to find them at first. So if somebody, if you walk up to it and somebody's already shooting it, that doesn't count. I'm not trying to, call you an idiot, but I'm just saying I know that
was destroying. I get no credit for any minions.
I mean, I would assume you would, but I've had no issues with the trophy tracking. After starting playing last night with the guys, I've already got over 20 trophies in that game. So I've had no issues with the tracking. That doesn't mean that you're not, but it seems to be tracking fine for me. Are you looking, who knows? I mean, on the PlayStation Network, this game does track the trophies for you. So it'll tell you your percentage of what you've done towards the trophy. A lot of games don't do that. This game does. So, I mean, that is nice. So you could maybe on PSN, it'll tell you more accurately.
I'll look, but it also says I only calmed down 1 civilian from a scared state, which I know I did more than that.
Well, hold on. Scared states, those are the people in the red. If they're in the yellow, I'm assuming that's not a scared state.
Okay, fair enough then. Anyway,
yeah.
So I've been playing that. I've been playing some Darksiders 2 on the PS5. It was a free upgrade since I owned the definitive edition for the 4. So if anybody owns the 4 version, you can get the 5 version for free, which is pretty cool. I started playing Thunder Ray on the PS4. Mostly because Alex said it's much easier road to 100% before I go back and try to do the hard PS5 version.
Yeah, because you don't have to do the gauntlets.
Yeah.
All you got to do is beat the fighters, so it's a much easier 100%.
I played a little bit more of NHL 24, playing as Become a Pro. I'm 5 games in, and I'm 12 goals on the season, and my coach benched me because I'm not being a team player.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
That's kind of weak. I mean, like, again, it's a video game. You want to have like, you want to feel powerful. You want to feel like you're the best. So if you're out there scoring goals, like,
Well,
that's too simulation for me. I don't like that.
My teammates have come up to me telling me to stop being a puck hog. I'm like, I'm not really being a puck hog. It's just I could read the play and know, like, and I'm putting myself in a position to do a lot of breakaways. So I don't know.
Tell them to get good. Tell them to be better.
So, but I am playing for the Blackhawks, so I mean, there's that. You know. Played a little bit more of the show, doing a pro career on that. Did I ever tell you guys my gripe with the show? Is that there's no season mode?
That it's baseball.
Well, that too. But there's no season mode.
What do you mean?
You can't just choose a team and go through a season.
Sure you can.
No, you can't. I've looked all through the menus. There's be a pro. There's situations, but there's no like pick the Yankees and go through 162 games of the season.
I've definitely done that, so I'm not.
On 24?
Yeah.
Oh, then maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I didn't see it, but I went through every menu and could not find do a season.
Well, they have the March to October thing, which is where you just play like moments, and then there's just a straight up like franchise mode. I'm pretty positive. I mean, I do that every year.
I thought the franchise mode was you're the GM and you're running the team. I just want to play I want to play both sides of the ball with every player. I don't want to be just one player playing a situational moment. I don't want to be a GM. I just want to play,
well, there's definitely that. Yeah, I'm not sure how you're missing that. Yeah, there definitely is.
I'll look through it again, but I did not see that. And
before you continue on, Tricky, welcome to Polar Knight's first time chatter, who says that they love this show as the perfect evolution of beard growth.
Yeah.
Okay, do we know Polar Knights? Is he from Channel 3?
Don't know, but welcome.
Don't matter. Polar Knights was complimenting our beards, so yeah, our facial hair. So hey, welcome.
It's called user error. Nitro says it probably is Nitro. Honestly, Polar Knights, thank you for dropping into the stream. And
also, it could be the fact that Tricky don't see too good.
I see fine. I just don't see colors.
But can you see why kids love the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
No. That's a horrible cereal.
What?
That's horrible cereal.
Next, you're going to say Fruity Pebbles taste like crap.
Fruity Pebbles I like. Fruit Loops are banned from my house. We will never tell that story on the show because I'll never hear the end of it. But Fruit Loops are banned from this household.
Well, now we have to ask the goddess.
The goddess doesn't even know the story. I refuse to tell her.
I still can't believe you don't like Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
It's a horrible cereal.
How?
It tastes horrible. How anybody could be a fan of that cereal, I do not know.
Okay, what are some other cereals you like?
I think a cop-out answer would be Cocoa Pebbles. I do like Count Chocula. I do like Frosted Flakes.
Disgusting.
What? I think you're just trolling me now.
Maybe I am on some, maybe I'm not on others.
You really don't like Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
I cannot stand the taste of it.
Man.
Do you not like Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal bars? They're actually like really good.
Wait, Tricky, do you not like the taste of cinnamon? Is that what it is?
Oh, I love cinnamon.
Oof.
I just think the cereal is an abomination.
You don't.
I'm not even saying that's a troll. I honestly, I legit think it's an abomination.
Now, do you all remember the Cinnamon Toast Crunch when they had like the French toast like bits of cereal? Like there was like slices of bread or something like that.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that wasn't great. But regular Cinnamon Toast Crunch that's upper echelon. I do like Frosted Flakes as well. I'm also at my heart an old man, so I'll eat some Raisin Bran too. But Fruity Pebbles is number one for me. I love Fruity Pebbles. I mean, I like Lucky Charms. Yeah, I mean the marshmallows. Really, come on.
Oh no, the marshmallows like grit my teeth. I can't stand the texture anymore.
Cookie Crisp.
Oh, that is the worst cereal on earth.
Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, it's awful.
It used to be awesome. Not so much anymore.
My daughter.
More like Dookie Crisp.
My daughter.
Got him.
My daughter loves Life.
Well, so don't we all?
Oh, Life's good.
I'm looking through my Amazon shopping list right now. All the cereals I bought. Yeah.
You cannot go wrong with good old Honey Nut Cheerios.
I'm just not gonna comment.
Cereal aside,
That is the
what
most.
else?
That's the most inoffensive cereal on earth. Honey Nut Cheerios.
And so for the last game I'm playing, it was obviously a Division. We are just a week away from Seasons 2.0. And I didn't play it this week, but I'm glad to see three. I'm showing for the camera. 3 people have purchased Suicide Squad in the last week, and all of them like it. So suck it, haters.
How much did they buy it for?
I don't know. They didn't tell me
Wait.
how much they bought it for.
Are these members of the community?
Yes.
Well, I'm assuming Dex is one of them because Dex was commenting last week about how
Dex is one. Another person left a Facebook question that validates that Matt will get into later, and another one was a private message.
That's how bad it's gotten for Suicide Squad. There's 3 people buy the game and Tricky's
at discount. The only way they buy in is when it's at a discount.
No matter what, you guys are just gonna hate on that game.
I don't want to intrude on this, and I definitely don't want to defend Tricky, especially after he talked shit on the Red Sox and all that stuff earlier, or the Bruins, all that stuff. But I bought that game at launch, and I actually didn't hate it.
I think you're actually part of the clan.
I am.
You are part of the clan.
Yeah.
So, in my life, I tend to pick apart statements left and right, and the statement of "I bought that game and I actually didn't hate it" is not the glowing review for Suicide Squad that Tricky would want.
No, listen. Again, it is to each their own with that game, honestly, but it's not as bad as the general public is trying to make it out to be. It has its flaws. Don't get me wrong. There are things wrong with it. There are things I'd like to see changed, but they also do a couple things right. Like, I like the fact that if I'm fighting because the battles can get a little chaotic, if I fly away and forget to pick up this piece of loot, it automatically comes to me and says, "Hey, this piece has been added. Left behind loot gets added to your inventory." Those kind of things I like, because the battles can get a little chaotic, especially when you're throwing down a bunch of polka dot grenades.
Alrighty. But, if we want to talk about games that are better than Suicide Squad, I have been playing a number of games.
You're going to be a hard time finding a list of games for that.
Not as hard as you think, because the first game on it is more Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, which is a phenomenal game, and I continued on. I got past the next couple of dungeons. I got past a pretty significant boss fight, which I'm actually surprised that they put this boss where they did in the game, and it was a lot of fun mechanics. Used all the mechanics that you learned thus far. Then there was in chat, Tricky's talking about somebody was supposed to buy that for him for his birthday. Just saying. Haven't met him, Tricky. Don't know who you're talking about.
I for the record, I didn't meet anybody on this show. I'm just saying I put it out there. Somebody should buy it for me for my birthday, and somebody who's going to remain nameless says, "Well, then just don't buy it," which led me to believe that they were going to buy it for me.
And then,
we have a V sighting.
She was bringing me a ice cream sandwich, but I will not get to it by the time it's still firm. It will be melted all over. Thank you, honey.
Thank you, honey.
Then, going back to Echoes of Wisdom, that Tricky is going to have to live vicariously through my playthrough. I've moved on to different areas of the game. I continue unraveling the map. It kind of starts you in a traditional Hyrule map where you get to, be at the castle, then you get the Gerudo Valley, as well as the Zora area. And now I'm starting to spread out to the other areas and open up the map there. What I find fun, and from a developer standpoint, you really have to think about the tools you're giving somebody and where they can go at what point they're in the game. Like, there is a point where I see a chest up on a ridge, and I'm like, well, there's no way I can get to that. Oh, is there? When I used my water echoes and made a 4 stack of water, and I was able to swim up and jump over the tree line to get to the chest. It's that kind of ingenuity that I like that Nintendo does with their games. And this game is definitely giving you the ability to kind of problem solve with the tools you have. And if you don't have the right tool yet, just continue adventuring around. You'll find it eventually. So I'm still having a lot of fun with that game. I also put time into Helldivers too, Alex. I just did 2 missions. We did it at level 4, I think it was. But we did it at a bots level 4. And with all of the new jetpack bots that are they explode and set you on fire. So, I went in without all my fire gear, and sure enough, I burned to death quite a few times. But the jetpacking bots are definitely more difficult than your standard fare, because like 3 or 4 of them will jump into you at a time, and it just creates a lot of chaos. So we did a lot of dying in the 2 matches we played. Also on the list this week, I did some Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2. My buddy and I were playing through some of the additional missions. I tell you, that game very quickly becoming one of my top 5 of the year. The action surrounding it is fantastic. The graphics and everything are amazing. The sheer number of enemies that you get on screen at a single point is awesome. And what's funny is I hear a lot of people attribute it to being like Gears of War, when in actuality, it's still it's actually kind of more akin to like a Dynasty Warriors or something, where you're just destroying all sorts of enemies on screen at the same time. And what's interesting is that there's only like 6 operations, that is what they're called, in the main story campaign, but then there's a whole bunch of other ones in like the side operative, like the B team you get. And they announced all sorts of updates that are coming for it. And the first one already hit. It's introducing a new operation where there's a giant boss. Think of something as big as like a bile titan that you need to take down. So playing through that's fun. We got 2 more operations left to do in the single player campaign. Jeremy, I also did Silent Hill 2. I pushed past where I was. I got to the park, if you remember in the original one. That's where you meet somebody special and you start.
Yep, that's where I'm at now as well.
Yeah, and I kind of like the interaction here a little bit more. It definitely gives a little bit more into their feelings, and the way James is like, wait, you're you're not. You're somebody different.
Right.
And I like all the subtle changes they did for her. It made her younger, more hip, more, I don't want to use the term sex kitten, but basically it's exactly what they're thinking James is supposed to see in her. So I appreciate all the changes that they made there, but I stopped playing that shortly after. But in the end result, it was definitely a good. Getting to that part was fun. And again, exploring around Silent. The funny thing is, as I'm escorting and I'm smashing windows, I'm getting all sorts of like side comments.
Yeah, she's always questioning what you're doing.
Searching for medicine. I actually found that like you said, I'm swimming in ammo, but more so right now, I'm actually swimming in health drinks and health needles.
I was gonna say up until like recently, I don't even think I've used any of the syringes. But I mean, I've had plenty of the health drinks though. Yes.
Yeah, I'm at like 6 on each, which is a lot. Going through the apartments, I was sitting around with like 1 or maybe 2 of one or the other throughout most of that time. So that's what as far as the experience of Silent Hill, I'm going to continue on, and I'm going to try to go through it as organically as possible without trying to game the system. I know, like in the old game, there were certain things you would do that would lead to different endings. I'm just going to try to play through however I feel is the right way at this point, and get through the game that way. Also, I did some more Baldur's Gate 3 in my Dark Urge run. A couple more people are no longer in the plane of Faerun and therefore are no longer of my concern. But I am helping my Fire Mama Karlach fix herself and trying that path. Didn't do too much of Baldur's Gate, but it was still, got a couple hours in. Then also a new game came out last week. This is a game I've been looking forward to for a long time, MechWarrior 5 Clans. My experience with this series goes all the way back to MechWarrior 2 on the Sega Saturn. And, I never played the tabletop, but I've played most MechWarrior games since then. And this one introduces... All right, quick history lesson. There's a group in MechWarrior known as the Inner Sphere. That's like the universe, for all intents and purposes. They are all warring within. Think Game of Thrones level warring. A peacekeeping army decided to fuck off and go out of the system. Said, we're leaving you to your own destruction. We're going to go build our own society. That society is known as the clans, and they're now coming back to the Inner Sphere to, quote unquote, save it, which is more like conquer it. And you play as a member of one of those clans, and your technology and your war strategy is leagues above and beyond anything in the Inner Sphere. So you're going to this game, you're just destroying everything that comes across your path. And it's based on real history of the BattleTech universe. So when we get back to a point where we're seeing historical events in this game, it's interesting to see it play out in real time in front of you. So I've got, a half dozen so hours in that game. It only came out on Thursday, and I am looking forward to playing that more and more. And then finally, the game I did, yes, Alex, I got my trophies in, was Astrobot. I got 100% of the tentacle system completed. It was interesting because I had started a couple weeks back, and I dropped off to go play other things, and now I'm back. So I had to use the bird to go back through some of the levels to find the things that I was doing. A question for you guys who played it, and I know, Tricky, you're near 100%, but when I get those special warp planets, are those something you recommend I do right then and there, or does that not matter and I can come back to those later?
You can come back to those later.
I know I can, but is it worth doing them at that point, or is just waiting not really matter?
I didn't know, Darth, hi, Darth's in the chat, sorry. I didn't know about the warp levels until I was like on my third or fourth planet, just because I wasn't. As you know, like when you highlight a level, it tells you like how many bots you have, and then there was that little portal symbol. I didn't really know what that was, and wasn't really looking at them. So I didn't know about them until, well, I guess my third or fourth planet. I thought they were challenging. I thought the more challenging levels were the sacred symbol levels, which I don't think is in the tentacle. I think they start on the second planet.
So, are you talking about the in the tentacle system? I got those triangles, and I did those.
Did it start on the tentacle system?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so those I think are the more challenging ones.
I definitely died a bunch trying to get through. I think there were 4 of them there.
Yeah,
but it was fun.
There's a set of symbols for each planet. Saber says the last challenge is the last challenge in the game the hardest. I mean, Jeremy, you can speak to it, but I think some of the sacred symbol levels were harder. The last level, I think, is just The only reason it's potentially hard is because it combines strategies from all the sacred symbol levels into one level, and you cannot make a mistake.
I was just gonna say that I feel like that last challenge just kind of takes everything from each of those and just throws it into one, like a longer challenge. But those the sacred symbols levels, in my opinion, were definitely the hardest part of that game, for sure.
And now they just released the some of the speedrun levels, and they have trophies to them, so I might go back and try those.
Which is what I want to get to, because I want to see how well I could do on some of those.
I wonder if it's going to be like when you play Astro's Playroom, where it has to you get notifications when your friends beat your times.
I would love to see that.
But I am noticing, and I'm not trying to step on your toes here, Matt. I am noticing that only one trophy has been unlocked in the DLC pack. And that's rescue the bot and build in speed. So I don't know that you can get all these trophies. I think they're time releasing like they did with the last Astrobot game, where they're going to release them one at a time. And then there's obviously a trophy for getting all the bots, which is still sitting at 0%. But right now, the only trophy that I've seen anybody earned is sitting at a 38% uncommon trophy, and all the other ones are 0. So I don't know that the other trophies have been released yet. Sorry, I stepped here.
No, it's fine. It's discussion of the game, which is what I'm looking for. But I have a lot more to go. But I don't know why I feel strangely compelled to 100% each of these individual systems before I move on to the next. It was just my question about the warp levels to determine whether I should do those immediately or I can come back to those later without much of an issue.
So obviously you did the special level at the end.
Out of War, yeah.
I'm trying not to spoil it, but okay.
It's been out for a month.
Well, also, we've all seen pictures of Astrobot dressed as Kratos. Like we know.
Well, no. Getting Kratos is different from what this level is. This level, I guess we'll spoil it at this point. After you beat each individual boss, a special planet or level opens up in which you go through the level as Kratos, and you're playing it as in like you're Kratos playing God of War Ragnarok. You got the axe you could throw around and stuff like that. So if you guys listened to me weeks ago when I started playing this, and I said if they released Astrobot in those type of settings and those kind of levels, I think they could be a huge franchise. In the fact of you take an Astrobot and you play as play as Kratos, or you play as Nathan Drake, or you play as Aloy, and you have an entire game based like that. I think that'd be fucking cool as hell.
Yeah, definitely very flexible on all that. But so now I'm back on the core planet, and I've got all the things to do there. Had some fun going back to the gotcha machine and unlocking some additional items for the Astrobots around the planet. So it's listen, the game's got so much charm. When I go to play it, I want to just sit down and focus on it and maybe do like an entire system in one run. So that's my goal on that. Another first-time chatter, Country Boy X83X, just confirming that you are agreeing with Saber to say that we have to stop talking about tentacles because he's thinking of anime now. That is called hentai, Saber.
I think he was agreeing with me in the Astrobot levels.
Okay, well,
hopefully
that is the agree level. But like I said,
anybody agrees with me, so I have to take credit when I can.
I will give you that benefit of the doubt. So that really what I've been playing. Nope, he agrees with Tricky. Yes, there you go, Tricky. There's your confirmation. Play your damn horn. No, don't really play your damn horn, Tricky.
My finger was on the button.
Yeah, don't play your horn.
Wait, I'm editing.
All sorts of. You are editing this week.
Well, I couldn't hit the button.
You're just making it bad luck for the Rangers, because that's then gonna have to go off when they're not scoring goals. So do what you will.
You know I'm superstitious, so I hate you for that.
Yep.
Will
And
says
Will's
play
in
the horn.
chat telling you to play the horn. Alrighty.
You know what? Hold on, 2 people asked me, so now I gotta hit it. So anybody who doesn't know, this is the goal horn that you guys always hear on the show. It's gonna be loud, so just prepare your ideas. Or prepare your ears. It's up. Oh wait, I turned it off. Hold on. Damn it, it's not playing now.
Broken, just like the Rangers.
Oh.
It's got to turn on, and hold on. I turned it off because Matt was like, turn that thing off.
And now Tricky has jinxed the Rangers for the entire season.
You know, funny. I got a funny story for you. So, anybody who's a hockey fan knows there's a tradition that you don't touch the championship trophy, whether it be whatever it is, until you win the Stanley Cup. Right? Jeremy, you know what I'm talking about, right? Okay, so me and the goddess got into a little bit of a tiff the other day because I'm very superstitious, especially when it comes to hockey. She put on the table that was basically blocking the TV a Stanley Cup. And I argued with her for about a half an hour that she needs to move it because I can't touch the Stanley Cup until the Rangers win the cup. What's sad about it is that she told me I was going a little overboard because it wasn't actually a Stanley Cup. It was one of the Stanley Cups.
I really hope that she made you pick that up and move it yourself.
No.
That is ridiculous.
No.
That is...
I made her move it. It took 45 minutes, but she moved it. I stopped what I was watching on TV, and I paused it, and I was like, you have to move this because I can't see the TV. And
Didn't someone recently break that curse, though? They touched the... it was one of the Eastern or Western Finals trophies.
Sidney Crosby, who was a fucking jackass.
Yeah, I don't want to even get into that.
He broke the tradition, and he was grabbing the... I forget the name of the trophy now, but the one win for winning the Eastern Conference, he broke it, and because the tradition, the jinx was always if you touch that trophy, you didn't win the cup, and then he won the cup. So now every year he picks up that one if they get that far.
Yeah, leave it to that ass clown to ruin things.
Listen, you got an ass clown on your team that likes to lick people, so you don't have room to talk.
Look, I'm not here to defend him at all.
Yeah, yes, Alex. There's a player on his team that actually likes to lick people and has done it on 2 different occasions.
I didn't know one of the Bushwhackers played for the Bruins.
He's a fucking jackass. I can't stand him.
Don't you talk about Luke and Butch that way.
Oh, Marchand is his name.
Yeah.
He licked people on the nose.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Tactic, for sure.
Alrighty. Okay.
Nitro says
With all this...
Nitro says the goddess was not in the wrong. Yes, she was.
All this licking and trophy touching is really awesome, except, now we just want to move on with the rest of the show, which means we've got some news articles to discuss this week. First up, coming from a YouTube video, was announced at New York Comic Con this past weekend. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 for the PC was announced coming out January 30th, and we all kind of knew that was coming. But the real point of what I want to discuss is what came out after it, where Insomniac has come out and said that they are not planning any additional story content for the game, which, given one of the big Easter eggs slash insinuations that occurred in the game, I find this is criminal. So unless there's something else coming out, like a new game kind of in the style of Miles Morales, I'm interested as to why they're taking this direction. So I don't know. Anybody want to discuss this ominous comment?
I'm not saying you're wrong, but where was this ever said?
It's not in the YouTube video. It came out after the video was pushed out and an announcement was made. In the announcement, it specifically said Insomniac goes, "We're not planning any additional story content for Spider-Man 2."
Okay, because I haven't seen that anywhere, but that's criminal if that's true. I'm not saying you're wrong, Matt. I'm just saying I haven't seen anywhere where it says that, because I'm even looked on the PlayStation blog where they said that they said that, and I don't see that. But that's criminal because there's so much more you could do with that. And there were people that did deep dives into the game files and found different DLC files. I don't know if it was meant to be different costumes. I don't want to say costumes, but suits. But yeah, this is criminal that they're not doing DLC for this game. But I mean, to be fair, they did do. Yeah, that's the actual article I'm on, Matt, and I don't see where it says it. But I'm skipping over it, so I could just be just missing it. Anyway, yeah, they didn't do DLC for God of War, the 2018. We only got the Valhalla DLC for Ragnarok. This is a little concerning for me because these are franchise games and franchises, so to speak. So yeah. So Matt's can do that. I'm just gonna stop talking for a second.
I put it in our chat, the link to the article and the specific section that calls out where Insomniac says they're not doing anything else.
Yeah, I'm not trying to. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. This is just criminal to me. They definitely need to put DLC out for this game.
Yeah. Well, they're not doing it. Anybody else want to talk about their disappointment?
I mean, I haven't played Spider-Man 2, or spent any significant time with Spider-Man 2, I guess because Tricky had pointed out that I had opened up Spider-Man 2 or played the trial so I could get some points on PlayStation Stars. But I think that Matt mentioned it, unless they do something like a Miles Morales game. Miles Morales is part of the game, right? He was part of the story. He was ingrained into So I don't think they're going to do a Miles Morales-like game because Miles Morales was to integrate him into the story, a way to introduce him without, having him be part of the first game, to where they can blend them into Spider-Man 2, Peter Parker and Miles Morales. So I don't think you're going to see another game like that. I mean, if they wanted to sell you a $20 DLC with more Spider-Man story content, I guarantee people would buy it. But I mean, who knows? Maybe they're just going to go work straight on the next game. Maybe they're going to go work on Spider-Man 3 and whatever, things you saw in Spider-Man 2 that you thought could have been DLC will be explored in the third game.
I mean, I don't know how successful the first game's DLC was. Obviously, Miles Morales didn't have any. So I don't know if maybe that fed into the decision. There's things I see that said maybe it was canceled, that it was leaked eventually, and now it's gone. So I don't know. Jeremy, did you do any Spider-Man 2?
Yeah, I played through that. I'm honestly shocked that they're not releasing any DLC just based on the money that they would make from it. Because I guarantee, people would pay for that.
Well, there were. I don't remember if you guys remember. There was an Insomniac leak not too long ago where they were. There was a bunch of Spider-Man content in other games, like a multiverse game and stuff like that. That was all leaked. That they could have been planning to do, and now that got leaked and essentially canceled at this point, that's the reason why they weren't working on Spider-Man 2 content. But I'm actually surprised, without spoiling it, that I expected DLC to come out to reverse the decision for the end of the game. And hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about because I don't want to spoil it. How long has Spider-Man 2 been out already?
About a year.
All right, I guess we can spoil at this point. So at the end of Spider-Man 2, Peter Parker essentially retires. So it started the whole concept of, is future Spider-Man games just going to be Miles Morales? I was kind of hoping DLC would come around to reverse that decision. Because I don't have a problem with Miles Morales, but my Spider-Man is Peter Parker.
See, but I don't know if he was officially retiring. It's I know Miles goes, Pete, I got this, but also you saw Miles was having his own trials and tribulations. So I wonder how long that could last. And we all know Spider-Man doesn't give up. So
you also don't need a DLC to reintroduce Spider-Man for him to retcon that decision. You can just be like, in a third game, oh hey, you know what? Miles Morales was captured or badly injured, and I need to come back into service to help fight this enemy.
I didn't mean like, I guess I said it, but I don't mean like necessarily to reverse it, but just to get more Peter Parker Spider-Man content. Because if they stay with that decision, I would think that they're moving forward. When they do a Spider-Man 3, that it's going to be Miles Morales only. So I was hoping for more Peter Parker content, so to speak. I guess I misworded that a little bit.
So wait, let me ask you this: if the next game is Miles Morales as the solo hero, are you still going to play it?
I'll still play it, but I'm going to be disappointed.
Well, Will says, forget Spider-Man 2, that shouldn't be the next game, that they need to focus on Wolverine, which is kind of an accurate statement because
yeah, they do.
That's been so teased, and there's that one video.
But it hasn't really been teased. It was just that one video, and then they haven't said shit about it since.
Yeah, I think they need to move on and get that going. I'm okay with them not focusing on Spider-Man for a little bit to get Wolverine out the door. But
yeah, and the next Ratchet and Clank.
And the next, I could do with another Ratchet and Clank at this point too.
I could too. I love those games.
All right. And speaking of games, you all remember Sean Layden, former.
How could we forget, Matt? How could we forget Sean Layden?
Because Sean liked him a lot
has
better.
Done more talking in the last 3 months than he did during his time at Sony.
I know, and a lot of it is easy for him to say behind the scenes. But he, at a recent Gamescom Asia conference, he made a comment about that. AA games are no longer a thing, and with Ubisoft out there telling us, hey, their games are quadruple A, that means we've got indies, we've got triple A's, and quadruple A. So who needs AA games anymore? But his comment and what I wanted to bring up here was actually one of, like, blockbuster games are now so focused on the budget put into it to make it a blockbuster, and then how are the recurring monetization built into it to get their money back, when in reality there's devs out there who just aren't asking the question, but is the game fun? So what I'm trying to bring here to discussion is, yeah, he's kind of throwing pot shots from the sidelines now, but I think he asks a very valid question of what happened to the games that are just fun. And I think those are now being relegated to indie games, not so much the what would be known as double. I don't even know what AA games are supposed to be anymore.
Matt, I can think of one AA game that came out this year that bucks this entire trend and is focused on fun.
Dave the Diver.
Helldivers 2. Not a fully priced game.
But to me, that's a AAA game.
No, because it wasn't. If that was AAA, they would charge more. They would have been a $70 game. It was a $40 game.
Okay.
And it's not focused. Yes, there is a global war, like a galactic conflict. There is story elements there, but it's more focused on the cooperative gameplay.
Would you call Ratchet and Clank a AAA game?
Yes.
And that they often sell those for cheaper.
I guarantee you. Well, the newest one, Rift Apart, wasn't cheaper.
No, but they did sell the previous ones for like $10 to $20 cheaper.
Yeah, but that
was like Quest for Booty and
no.
And 2016 was a remake.
I mean, I guess that's a fair point, but
I would consider Helldivers a AA game.
I would agree with that. Jeremy?
Helldivers, as what'd you say, AA? Yeah, I would say that. With it not being full price, yes.
Are we defining AA as independent now?
No.
It
Still Wakes the Deep. Jeremy, I don't know if you would agree with this, but Still Wakes the Deep. A game that doesn't cost full price, a smaller game, but not quite small as like an indie game, like your Limbo or something like that, with some production behind it, with mocap and strong narrative work. I consider that another AA game.
Yeah, I was actually going to mention that. Yeah, that fits in that category for sure.
Okay, I want to have a side discussion here real quick. Then, if we're not going to define AA as indie, what are we defining it as? Are we just saying it's a AAA game that doesn't have that massive of a budget?
Yeah, no, so that's part of it. I also think indie definitely speaks to a much smaller development team, usually, less than 20 people. I don't want to put too fine a number on it, but you get the idea. Whereas AA's, you tend to have different teams necessary where roles are starting to become more specialized. Whereas in indie, your artist might do the music as well, because that's what's needed to get the game out the door. But as far as AA, they don't have the massive budgets, but they've got some backing. It's just the games may be more experimental or a more niche subject that doesn't scream blockbuster.
So two games that came to mind when you were saying this came to mind that would you classify them as AA is Lost Legacy for Uncharted and Miles Morales. Would you define those as AA games, even though they're being made by a AAA developer?
What depends? What makes it AAA or not is the budget. How much it costs to make that game. That's what makes it. Which is why Ubisoft said Skull and Bones is quadruple A. It's how much it takes to get that out the door.
Jeremy, you were shaking your head when I asked that question. What are your thoughts?
No, I definitely don't consider them to be AA games. To me that's AAA for sure.
Because they both sold at a cheaper point. To Alex, and I'm not trying to rip apart your argument, Alex. I'm just saying both of those games sold at a lower price point, and that was one of the sticking points you made. So I'm just trying to understand where we as a group are defining what a AA game is compared to.
But those aren't games. They're Well, I guess Miles Morales is more of a game. Left Behind is DLC.
No,
Very
Lost
clearly
Legacy.
DLC.
Lost Legacy.
Oh, Lost Legacy.
I think where we're getting off that it's not just one feature or another that defines it. It's an entire scope. A smaller team, a smaller budget, maybe not as well advertised, maybe a mix of these different elements are what make it a AA instead of a AAA. Could a AA game come out of a AAA studio? I think so, but I think that's more rare than a team like Arrowhead, who works on this very specific, very narrow line. When I think of AA, I think it's like developers who have like a single game or game series, and that's what they focus on.
Okay.
And to Sean Layden's comments, I think that he has made a lot of sense in saying that, he's basically said that the cost to make games has ballooned out of control, and he's right. But I think lost in that is to say that there's no more AA is ridiculous, because there's so many different games of so many different price levels, so many different size levels of teams and marketing budgets and promotion, that to say that entire category of games is gone is ridiculous.
Fair.
I think everything still exists. I think it's just the AAA games have become so expensive that that's what the focus has been, and the talk of the industry, especially with all the layoffs the last couple of years. It's basically creating so much noise that it's blocking out what other people see as this game or that game. I think it's just created so much noise that everything else is still there. It's just the dust cloud is so thick you can't see past it, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
Okay.
Got it. Jeremy, anything else you wanted to add?
Nope, I don't got anything.
The next topic was not so much a discussion point, just bringing it to everybody's attention that Game Freak did suffer a hack recently, coming from GBA Temp. Kristen Noren wrote the article that that there may have been some exposure to the source code for the Heart Gold and Soul Silver games, which, as you know, are decades old at this point. Some mentions of a Gen 10 game, as well as a playable platform digital capability for a game called Legends ZA. As you know, Legends Arceus came out a couple years ago, so this seems to be the next game in that line. But most damaging, it seems like there might have been some employee data that came out of that hack as well. So, again, unless somebody...
Lawsuit?
I'm sorry?
You think this is in response to the lawsuit?
No. But I also think that they've been having issues for a while. I think the Pokemon Company had a hack similarly well before that lawsuit was announced. But it's sad to see that certain things get spoiled. But when a company gets as big as Game Freak and the Pokemon Company, they're bound to be targets. Everybody's getting hacked these days. It's not a matter if, it's when.
Well, and Legends ZA has already been announced. It's been out there, so it's not like that was a surprise, and it's not like Gen
into that.
Wait, it wasn't fully announced because
Not
I
fully announced. No, because ZA is a reference to Zygarde and the whole.
Yeah.
Which one? That was. That was XY.
Xerneas and Eviltal?
Yes, so that was the XY series. So that's where the rumor is that this Legends is going to take place in that. What realm was that?
Was that Unova? No, that was wait.
No,
that
was Black and White. God, this is going to piss me off. All right, we'll come back to that later. The point being is,
it was the one. Was it the one that was after Paris, like France?
Yeah.
Unova was New York.
Kalos.
Okay.
Kalos. Yeah. So the end result is, listen, we all know the next games are coming. We know Gen 10 is going to be out there somewhere. So it's not like it's breaking news. But anybody else have anything they want to say about it?
Okay. I've never been a Pokemon guy other than Pokemon Go, and I played that for a while for my daughter, but she moved on, so I moved on.
I know. Tricky doesn't send me gifts anymore. He was.
Wow.
I've uninstalled the app, sir.
Oh, okay.
I don't blame you. I'm just bringing it up as part of a news article.
What are you saying like that for, Alex?
You could send me gifts. It doesn't cost you any money.
You want me to keep an app on my phone and open it every so often just to send you gifts that for a game I don't play?
Well, I think the answer to that should be obvious, sir.
Well, then, you know what? I'll do that for the next year. I will open the app every day if you sign up in 2 weeks to Division 2 to get me my perks.
Mm-hmm. I don't need gifts that badly.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Exactly.
All right.
No, I'm not going to start because if I start playing that game, I have to get the platinum trophy, and no, thank you.
No. You don't have to. You don't have to play the game. You just have to sign up.
Sign up what?
Through a link to make an Ubisoft account, and
I don't want to make an Ubisoft account. Come on now. I'd rather play the Division than make an Ubisoft account.
Wow.
That's fucked up.
It's Ubisoft.
So
they fucked up.
You have an Ubisoft account.
Do I?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're friends on Ubi Connect.
How? I never added you. Did you?
It was like years ago. Why are we talking about this?
I don't know.
I don't know. You all are on some accounts that don't matter anymore.
Will wants to know if you had to eat one Pokemon, which Pokemon would it be?
Miltank.
The cake one. What, Milcery or oh god, what's the cake? The giant cake one. From Galar from the last
Yeah. I don't remember, but that's not a bad choice.
Yeah.
I don't know enough Pokemon to make a guess, so I'd just say Snorlax since there'd be a whole bunch of a meal.
Yeah, you bite into Snorlax and you see what happens.
Jeremy,
Snorlax be biting back.
You'd have to wake up first. Jeremy, what's your answer, sir?
Oh, which Pokemon I would eat?
Yes.
I'd probably lean towards the cow as well.
My man. So, as far as
Alcremie. That's the name. Alcremie was the name of the Pokemon.
Got it. So, Jeremy, being a PC guy, you might know a little bit about this backstory, but Alex, Tricky, what do you know about Star Citizen?
Fuck all of nothing.
Okay.
I may be a PC guy, but I know nothing about Star Citizen either.
I didn't know anything about it until you put it in the agenda.
All right. So this is just an interesting. This is a case of Kickstarter gone wrong. This game has been in development for 12 years, first started as a Kickstarter. It has raised $790 million through crowdfunding by providing digital content that people can buy. Star Citizen is supposed to be the next big thing in space exploration, with ships that have real physics that change based on the planets you go to, a whole single-player campaign called Squadron 42. It's actually got Mark Hamill signed on for it as a voice actor. And just at CitizenCon this past week, it was announced that finally it's likely to come in 2026. This is being called the biggest scam ever because of how long it's been in development, and there's only been ever incremental updates to the quote-unquote game. Hell, even I bought a $45 pack back in the day that got me a single spaceship and basically the ability to fly around a training course. And the interesting thing about this is really a discussion point that they've raised $790 million, but their developmental costs have ballooned to a reported $637 million. So all of that on the backs of the goodwill of their fans. So the thing I'm bringing in here is to say, when is too much enough? Because people have been wanting to play this game, and there's bits and pieces that are playable, but $790 million raised through crowdsourcing. I'm flabbergasted that the gamers haven't crucified this company yet.
I had to step away. How long has this game been in development?
12 years.
Yeah, that's quite a long time.
It's just one of those things I bring up as be careful where your money goes, folks, because it is disturbing how long people have gone. And, there's ships out there. Vamp for a second. I want to search what the most expensive ship is.
I'll ask the panel. Do we think this is another fantastic debacle? But the day before?
I mean, in what they've shown off in the videos, does it look? I don't know. It's certainly been going on longer than the day before, but at the same time, if they can provide assets and media and show videos where it actually looks good, as opposed to what Fantastic promised, and then what it kind of turned out to be, and there was reason to believe that Fantastic was scamming people ahead of time. This just seems like, I don't know. Like it's just been forever in development. I mean, we've talked about how games that are, in development forever, development hell, don't usually turn out well. So who knows? This game may turn out to be just crap, and they took way too long to develop it. But
here you go. A limited number of Kraken privateer ships were sold. $2,000
a piece
for the ship. Yeah.
That's insane.
The next highest one I saw was the Kraken for $1,650. Again, limited number.
Does it say how many were sold?
No. Oh, I'm sorry. No, the Javelin one, which was $3,000.
So wait, you buy these ships to use them in game, right?
Yeah.
So wait, you're funding the game. Eventually, have to wait. Do you fund the game and then get access to the game eventually without having to buy it, and you're just buying ships to use in the game?
Yeah, so
I would hope that would come through a free copy of the game.
Yeah, you get access to the ships and whatever modes that are available that those ships are in. Some of the ships, from my understanding, may not even be out yet. And that's the constant development cycle, is that they're saying the new ship's coming, here's how much it's going to be. So it disturbs me that they've gotten away with this.
Is this game actually launched?
No.
Is it in a beta?
2026. It's coming out in 2026.
Well, no. So the single player campaign of the game is coming out in 2026. But right now there's kind of like a semblance of a universe that you can fly around in. It's not in any it's playable, but it is not in any cohesive shape.
So you have to.
It sounds like an entire scam to me.
You have crowdfunded this game. You've helped pay for this game, and then you have to pay for each individual. Are there any ships that come with the game, or you have to pay for all your ships?
Not known yet, because it is still in development.
So if you pay $3,000 for the Javelin, can you fly it around space in their universe right now, or do you have to wait?
I'm not sure what ships are or aren't available, but you can buy ships that are available to fly around in whatever they have set up. I don't know if it's the entire universe or just specific sections that they got, because they are going like mix a number of games together. Knights of the Old Republic, No Man's Sky, and all these other games that you can fly around in. It is out there. So again, I only bring this up just to tell people, watch what you're spending your money on.
Yeah, it seems like a foolish thing to spend whether the game comes out or not. It seems like an incredibly foolish thing to spend your money on.
All right. If nothing else, then Tricky, hit the sound.
Time to check my social media, yeah.
On to this week's listener questions. Will Yield is not here to answer your question of what he is wearing. So I'm going to venture a guess, khakis. Jeremy, what do you think Yield's wearing today?
Maybe a Bengals t-shirt. They actually won today.
Holy shit!
You know who didn't win today with 3 points?
The Giants?
The Giants. They lost to the Eagles.
Oh, that was expected.
Yeah, I could do you one better. The Patriots flew all the way to London just to get beat by the 1-5 Jaguars. So,
yeah. Well, hopefully they got some good fish and chips on their way out there.
How are the Jets doing?
Nobody cares. This isn't a football conversation. Tricky. You're supposed to answer what you think Yield is wearing.
Pajamas, because he said he couldn't be on the show because he had to work early tomorrow.
That is accurate. Alex?
I think he's wearing his Ghostbusters jumper with his Ward of Warship sailor hat.
Awesome. All right. Kalai writes in and asks, has anyone played the new Funko Pop game?
I'm interested in it, but once I asked you guys if you guys are going to play it, you were like, no. I'm like, I guess I'm not going to play it.
Well, Will's in here saying that the Ain't Dead podcast boys have, so we can't let them one-up us.
I guess I'll have to buy it and play it now.
Alex,
honestly, I had heard of the game. I didn't even know it was out at this point.
Jeremy?
I had no idea that it released. I knew about it, but I didn't know it even released.
I'm done with most things Funko Pop, except the rare thing here or there.
Until they come out with a Lego Funko.
No, not going to do Lego Funko.
I own 3 of them. They're the cast of the Goodfellas movie, and that's all I need.
Very on brand. I bought the 4 Halloween chicken McNuggets from McDonald's. So the toys from the 90s and the 80s. So yeah, that's all I need ever is those 4.
Will's in chat saying, come on, make it sexy. I assume that's going back to what Yield's wearing. No.
I said a sailor hat.
I deny.
What else do you want from me?
Somebody in a police uniform, somebody in a construction uniform.
YMCA.
How about nothing but Bengals underwear?
Oh, dear God. It goes back to Sean's earlier question, or Tricky's earlier question. Sean Scott writes in, says that gives credit to Tricky, bought Suicide Squad because it was hella cheap, $14 on the PSN store. It's actually pretty fun. At that price, you can't go wrong. Even enjoying co-oping it with the wife. Even picked up the season pass for $7. So, patient gamers, make sure that if you want to play a game, just wait a year, and it'll get cheaper with all the DLC.
It hasn't been out a year, has it?
Nope, February. Rick writes in, and Jeremy, this is up yours and my alley.
Hold on. Read my response to him.
Sean Scott, say it louder again for the people in the back, which I think is just a racist comment. I'm surprised that came out of your mouth, Tricky.
How is that racist? How is that
people in the back?
Racist?
Just saying.
I don't want to expound upon that, but I know where Matt's going with that.
I know where Matt's going with that too, but it's just wrong.
Oh my goodness.
You're better than that.
Well, that's a mistake you thought. All right, Redbeard Rick writes in and says, who's seen the Terrifier trilogy after Jeremy Englehart glowing review last week? Watched 1 and 2 earlier this week. Just got back from 3. Great old school horror films. Not often you get 3 great films in a series, but these just keep getting better and better. Shout out to the Tom Savini cameo, Living Legend.
I can agree
Jeremy,
with that.
I'll let you start off.
Yeah, I can agree with the Tom Savini Living Legend camp. Yeah, for sure. I'm just glad there's other people out there that are into sick stuff like we are. So gives me hope.
I don't know who Tom Savini is.
He did the effects makeup for Friday the 13th, the original one.
So I actually watched number 2 today.
There you go.
And
Come on, get down with the sickness.
I'm going to say I was confused during the latter half of that movie. I couldn't tell what was figments of their imagination, what was real, what was not real, whether the water thing was real or just her being all sorts of, stabbed, I guess is the technical term. But
they tried to they tried to make honestly like a story, make it into more of a story to do like the third movie then and stuff like that. And a lot of people didn't like that. It is a bit hard to follow.
I just got very confused over, when he pushes her into that light door and the next scene and after that. I enjoyed it. Oh man, the bedroom scene. Holy shit.
That's a rough watch right there.
Oh, I gotta say, he's got some superhuman strength doing that to what he did with her arms.
Yeah. You just all I'm gonna say is wait till you see the third one. There's a scene. I'm not trying to spoil anything for you, but there's a scene with rats, and that is a tough watch.
Tricky, Alex. You guys. I forgot last week when we talked about it. Did you see it?
No.
I have not seen it. Ashley has expressed some interest in it, and I don't know why, because she doesn't like slashers. So when I watched Halloween Kills, she sat behind me on the couch as I sat on the ottoman because she didn't actually want to watch it. She just sat there with me. So I don't know why she is interested in watching the Terrifier movies, but maybe at some point. I have watched a few Halloween movies this season already, but not Terrifier. I haven't been in the mood to watch a slasher yet, so I'm not. Can you watch it on any of the streaming services?
Yeah, they're all pretty accessible.
Okay. Like Hulu, Peacock, Netflix, any of those?
Yeah.
Okay.
What I will say, I don't know if you're a fan of 80s horror at all. That's
I am. I like, I know some of these are in the 70s, but like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I like the original Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. Although I still fucking hate the decision that Pamela Voorhees was the killer in the first Friday the 13th. I'm sorry, that's fucking stupid.
It was a twist.
It was a dumb twist, but. Sorry, I know most people probably disagree with me on that. I was just like, are you kidding me?
So, shit, what was I going to say? So the one thing I'll say, Tricky, in Terrifier 2 is the scene from the meme that you see everywhere.
I have no interest in seeing horror movies anymore.
Me being like Leonardo DiCaprio on the couch going, oh, I recognize that.
Is it the scene with the glasses?
No, it's the scene with the horror store cashier where he kind of looks at him funny and then smiles and then decides to do what he does. So yeah, and what I didn't realize was evidently Art the Clown was from something other than Terrifier.
There's a movie called All Hallows Eve.
Yeah. So I think that's on Prime too. I got to go back and watch that.
Yeah, they're all on there.
Alex, yeah, both the movies are on Prime. Terrifier, the original one's on Peacock as well.
Okay, so I don't know if we have Prime, but I can at least watch the first one on Peacock.
If you have Prime, you should be subbing to us on Twitch, which you can do by linking your Twitch account.
Shameless plug.
Cool. Okay, so I didn't know who this guy was, Tom Savini. But I saw a picture of him, and immediately I thought of the comedic death he made in a vampire movie. But apparently, it's probably not him. But do you guys remember there was a movie, and I can't remember the name of it?
Dracula Dead and Loving It.
There was a blonde. There was a blonde that was going around killing vampires. It was like
What?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
No, it's not Buffy. God. It was a comedy.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
That's what I'm thinking.
I already said Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Is it Dracula Dead and Loving It? Hold
That
on.
was with Leslie Nielsen.
No. This was a... Help me out, chat. What movie was it? Anyway.
A blonde goes around and kills vampires.
Yeah, she's like a... It's
That is Buffy the
It's
Vampire
Buffy the
Slayer.
Vampire Slayer.
It's not Buffy.
She is definitely a cheerleader in that movie. Yeah.
I know, but it's not Buffy. I'm telling you, it's not Buffy.
Strange coincidences here.
Blonde killing vampires, which is watch it come up. Buffy, the first one. No. Oh God. What movie was it? You know, it's gonna pop into me after. She was like a sex symbol back in the 90s. Was the lead star.
Yeah, God knows Sarah Michelle Gellar wasn't that at all.
You know, you're pissing me off with this going back to the Buffy shit. I'm telling you, it's not Buffy.
All signs point to Buffy.
90. Okay, hold on.
All right. You figure that out. The one thing I will say about Terrifier 2, and I saw it at the beginning, and I was watching for it, but they said, special guest, Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
And then finally when I saw it, I was like, okay, I'm happy. I'm good.
Not to spoil anything for you, but he makes an appearance in the third one as well.
Ooh, okay. I would imagine so, given how 2
Yeah.
ended.
Oh, okay, now I get egg in my face.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yes, but I was thinking of Sarah Michelle Gellar. It was actually Christy Swanson was the lead in that movie. That's why I was.
Yes.
Yeah, Sarah Michelle Gellar just played her on the TV show.
And to be fair, the guy I thought top 7 was Paul Rubens dying in that scene.
Yes. All right.
So
at least we know what scene I'm talking about now.
Yes.
So
Okay.
I Google searched vampire movies 1990s, and the first 6 things that come up are Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Interview with the Vampire, Vampires, John Carpenter's, Blade, Dracula Dead and Loving It, and Vampire in Brooklyn. Or is it Vampire of Brooklyn or Vampire in Brooklyn? I can't see.
Oh, well.
Vampire in
Final-
Brooklyn. Yes.
Final question.
I can't believe it. I argued with that. That was so...
Saber says, if Sega released an updated Shadow Dancer, how do you think it would do? I
Shadow Dancer
don't know
is.
what Shadow Dancer is.
Is Shadow Dancer? It's gonna sound crazy. My grandpa actually has an arcade cabinet in his basement that is Shadow Dancer, and I played the living shit out of that as a kid.
It looks like a ninja game.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't even remember this game at all. Looks like a ripoff of Ninja Gaiden.
I know the newest game I have to go back and preserve so I can test it out. Alex, did you know what Shadow Dancer was?
Isn't there some Bee Gees song, Shadow Dancing?
I don't know. I don't listen to Bee Gees.
Yeah. That's your loss.
Staying alive.
Yeah. I'll cry into my pillow over that one.
It's okay, Matt.
All right.
You don't have to cry.
Thank you for your questions. And in tradition of the Trophy Wars, I'm bringing back Topic of the Week and doing something a little different than what has been done in the past. You know, talking about what we want Topics of the Week to be, really want to generate conversation. So if you don't have anything for it or need time to think, let me know. But the topic I'm bringing to you this week is it's spooky season. Therefore, spooky games are abound. And what do you think, if you had one spooky game that you could play for the rest of your life, what would it be? Jeremy, go to you first.
Give me a minute. Come back to me.
Okay. Alex?
Honestly, I have made it no secret that I think Dead Space is the greatest survival horror game of all time. But playing that game over and over again, you kind of learn where everything is. You know where all the monsters come from. You know what to expect. Something like Spirits Unleashed, Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed, where the scenarios can kind of change. You play with friends. I don't know. Maybe that game, honestly, because I like the art style. I like Ghostbusters is one of my favorite franchises, and I like all the locations. I like playing with friends. Like it's a really good game that has a lot of legs to it. So really, even though I think Dead Space is a better game, something like Spirits Unleashed has just a lot longer life because you can play it in multiplayer for so long. So that honestly, even though it's like got that shine of being the new game I'm playing, it definitely has a lot of legs to it. Whereas like a lot of the other survival horror games I've played are basically like get through the game and get the platinum and you're done.
Okay. Tricky, do you have a spooky game?
I try to stay away from spooky games. I'm actually surprised I'm still playing Darksiders 2 because I just got to the part of fighting the humongous spider. Alex,
No, but that's a question because maybe a spooky game doesn't necessarily have spooky theme as the theme, but something in it could make it spooky. And for you, that's spiders.
Yeah, it's a huge ass spider too. I try not to play spooky games. I'm actually surprised that I got through Until Dawn the first time. But as I've said many times on the show, them spoiling the jump scares kind of helped because I kind of knew they were coming at that point. Yeah, it's just I don't get. This is not a shot at anybody, but I just don't get how anybody gets thrilled out of being scared. It's not an emotion I like or want to experience, so I don't know how people get that. And the idea of playing a spooky game, I don't get it because I play video games to relax. I don't play video games to have my heart racing.
So, to that aspect, I play video games to be challenged in some aspects, to overcome walls, so to speak, and spooky games give me that capability. And because I know I'm not in any real danger, going back to the PT demo years ago, playing that was terrifying until I got to the end of it and was starting to get frustrated and said, all right, this is no longer scary. But when I think about why I play a spooky game, like why Jeremy and I are playing Silent Hill 2, because it's I don't know if it's fun being scared or is it fun overcoming that challenge, overcoming the fear to take a step forward.
Jeremy?
Yeah, I can agree with that, and I have my answer for you too, by the way, on this subject. Since I feel like I've been playing it my entire life already, because I still haven't finished it. I don't know if you've ever played a game called Alien Isolation.
Oh yeah.
It is by far
That's Levi's favorite game.
There is way too much tension the entire time. I still have not finished that because I can't physically make myself get through it.
I got a question because one of the posts I put in the Facebook group was one of the new games is coming up. Maybe somebody remember the name of it, but basically the game is being programmed so it listens to your microphone and the
That was the Quiet Place, right?
Which is kind of getting panned by players.
Well, so somebody said this is the first game that Alien Isolation had that feature. Is that true?
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
So, let me just ask you guys. Do you guys like that idea? That if you're not playing in a quiet room, that you can't just simply hide, like your daughter or the washing machine could go off and reveal your location.
That's what I said. I'd be in the middle of playing that, and one of my kids would break my door down asking for a glass of milk or something, and then I'm just, I get my ass handed to me.
That's
and
why
the kids
like
are traumatized.
That's why I don't like it, because it introduced something that's out of my control. When I'm playing a game, I want things to be technically in my control. which means if it's something that I did or didn't do, then that's on me. But if something happens where it's somebody comes into a room and says something, to me, that's not fun.
See, okay, so the way I'll equate it is when I immediately thought about it, I was thinking of like when you watch like the horror movies and stuff like that, and somebody goes into hiding and they go to back up and they knock a vase off or they knock a cup off, something that makes a noise and reveals their location. That necessarily is not a concept you could really make in a video game. I mean, you can, but it's not a common thing, where this kind of replaces that element of saying, okay, I backed up into something. Now I can't control somebody coming into the room. You know, I would hate it if like 3 rooms away, you know, the buzzer goes off, the dryer buzzer goes off, and all of a sudden now you're being hunted down. But I think it's cool that they're trying to incorporate like a sort of a 4D element into games.
I like it. It's just like I said, I want to be in control of it completely. I don't want something random to happen. Because you talk about a knocking a vase off. Again, that's something that person does or experiences.
What if there was like a noise gate on top of it, like saying, okay, somebody opens the door, that's not going to set it off, but if, you know, V comes in behind you and says something, obviously you know V's going to be in the room. You know, she talks, then obviously that could set it off, but her opening the door to come into the room, I wouldn't want to set it off.
Yeah, well, that depends heavily on your microphone itself.
Well, I know in the case of Alien Isolation, there was the option to turn that off anyways, because there was no way I was playing it like that.
Yeah, and I had played it originally on the Xbox One, which had the Kinect with it, and that's where that played a role. So for me, my answer is going to be always Resident Evil 2, whether it's the original or the remake. You know, both are fantastic games. And if it's like you have to be stuck with one spooky game for the rest of your life, then that's the one I'm choosing, because it's fun, it's spooky at parts, it's exciting at other parts, it's got a decent story, and for zombies, you can't go wrong with zombies. So, with that said, anybody else have anything else to bring to the conversation?
Not to this conversation, but I do want to bring up a point being Alex and Yield and Nitro all brought up last night about the Ghostbusters game. I have a gripe with it, and Alex had the same gripe, and Yield had the same gripe, and Nitro had the same gripe. There's no trophy for sliding down the pole.
Yeah, at the Firehouse. The Ghostbusters game for the PS3 and the remastered version both have trophies for doing that. But if you slide down the pole, actually 2 poles, there's 2 poles in Firehouse, you do not get a trophy, which Ghostbusters games, I don't know. They've always had a really, you know, there's so many references and quotes that come from the movies that it's very easy to come up with a very cheeky trophy list, like, you know, quotes and references here, there. So, like, you know, something just seems very obvious. Hey, slide down the pole, get yourself a trophy.
Oh, Nitro says he didn't have gripe with it. Nitro, I thought you said last night you had a problem with it. But
something wrong again.
But something tells me that if Matt was playing the game, he'd purposely not slide down the pole if there was a trophy for it.
Yeah, that's stupid, because I expected to slide down the pole. Alrighty, with that.
But it's a reference to the movies, Matt.
Only for Bill Murray. And
it makes you warm and fuzzy on the inside. No, Dan Aykroyd, he's like, you guys got to try this pole.
Well, it's been a while since I've watched Ghostbusters.
You guys got to try this.
Minus 10 points to Gryffindor for fucking up the reference.
Nitro says I just didn't give 2 shits about it, honestly. Well, Nitro, you're not really going after trophies either, so.
Alrighty. Well, we're gonna close up the show. We're hitting 2 hours, and you know, it's been a great conversation. And as always, we'll start with our guest, Jeremy. For 2 weeks in a row, you're here, and we'll give you your time to do your shout outs.
Once again, shout out to you guys for having me on, thinking of me, to have me back. Shout out to my wife, my kids, my wife especially for keeping them quiet while I done this now 2 weeks in a row. Much appreciated. That's it for my shout outs.
Okay. Alex.
Shout out to the listeners, the fans, the fuel to the fire of the Trophy Horrors, all the fantastic people we had in chat tonight, our wonderful community. Guys, I know that you have it up, so please make sure we read off all the names. I don't have it in front of me, or else I would. Really, the reason we keep going, and Jeremy being one of those people, thank you again for giving us another one of your Sunday nights to come on here and talk just general news and your experience with Silent Hill. We appreciate it, sir, especially since, transitioning from vacation to overnight is not easy. So we definitely appreciate you and your wife and your 3 kids for allowing you guys to do this with us for yet another time. And we'll say it again, anytime you want to come on, you're more than welcome.
I appreciate that.
Yield, shout out to Yield, who's not here tonight, but also, like I said, played hours and hours of Ghostbusters with me and Nitro last night. Shout out to Tricky, shout out to Matt, and then last but not least, shout out to my awesome and loving girlfriend Ashley, who's currently on a cruise. She is enjoying a vacation with her mom and doing a little mother-daughter bonding time. And yeah, she has worked really hard and deserves a vacation. So I'm here watching over the pets and everybody to just hold the fort down at home. And I guess usually I do Ashley last, but I will say this one for last. Shout out to and a happy 7th birthday to my dad. He actually turns 70 on the 21st. So if you're listening to this on Monday, but yeah, give the last shout out to my dad, who will not listen to this show, but I definitely want to at least throw that out there into the universe, because obviously he and my mom have done a really good job taking care of me and my stepmom as well. So I just wanted to throw a shout out to my dad there and happy birthday to him.
Thank you, Alex. Tricky?
No, thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Alex.
Don't you get me into this.
We'll give a shout out to Nitro, who subbed to us for 20 months in a row. Thank you, Nitro. Shout out to Country Boy, if you're still in the chat. I don't know if you are. For the follow, appreciate it. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to Jeremy, who jumped at the chance to come back on the show. When I said, getting some positive feedback, I said, "Do you want to come back on the show?" He said, "Abso-fucking-lutely." Actually, he didn't say fucking. He just said absolutely. But I read it. That's the way I read it, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Shout out to the goddess. Shout out to Sweet Mama D. Twerp you to Nitro, who's being mean to me. Says, I left after 10 minutes. I didn't leave after 10 minutes. I left after 20 minutes.
You played maybe 3 or 4 matches with us. You could have played a lot more and had a lot more fun, but
okay. So I'm not gonna get into fully why, but I was in the right headspace to play with you guys last night. I'll just leave it at that.
All right.
Shout out to you guys for doing the show, and shout out to everybody that was in the chat that popped in. A couple people popped in. I think I saw Black Chaos in here. So a couple other people I saw.
Oh, we had a couple of new folks, didn't we? Which you already mentioned one of them.
Well, Country Boy was the follow, and Matt helped me out. What was the new one? The other new one?
Polar Knights.
Yeah. And it was oh jeez, I just lost it. Dark Knight that popped in. So thank you for popping into the streams. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the musical challenges. I'm going to try to stump them again next week.
Doesn't have to try that hard with me.
I'm trying to pick ones I think you would know, Matt, and like I thought for sure you would get the MacGyver one.
Yeah, never watched MacGyver.
Yeah, it's because Matt has a luscious head of hair too, just like MacGyver.
Hey, man, we all got compliments on our beards tonight, so I'll take that.
What about do you guys ever watch MacGruber?
No.
Oh, you mean what's his name? Will Forte?
Was it Will Forte?
Yeah, I'm not watching that.
Wow.
All right. You good with your shout-outs, Tricky?
Yeah, until next week.
All right. Well, shout out to you, gents. Jerry, thanks for coming back, man. Always good to have another horror aficionado on the show. Definitely appreciate.
I'm not invisible. I'm not the Invisible Man. This is not Hollow Man starring Kevin Bacon.
Man, that was a decent one. I like that one.
Yeah.
Not a bad movie.
All right, so then
I thought you were talking about my reference. I'm like, oh, you're complimenting my reference. No, you're talking about the movie in general.
Then we'll discuss more horror stuff, Alex. Shout out to Will specifically. Thank you again for doing all the thumbnails for our videos. Shout out to Yield, who couldn't be here tonight. Kind of like I'm assuming I will not be next week. So therefore, I count on everybody to have the show do pretty well without me. So good luck, everybody.
Matt, I didn't know your NFL team was playing next week.
No. Actually, next week, the wife and I are out getting new tattoos that for our anniversary, which was earlier this month. So, other people buy their significant others physical things. We go get tattoos. Not matching ones, not names. We just are getting tattoos. You'll see it when I eventually get it.
Sharing experiences.
Shared experiences. Shout out to the Channel 3 community. Make sure you go out to channel3.gg. I saw Jeremy joined up last week, and that hopefully you're seeing what's out there and what we're putting down. It's a fun time for all, and definitely come on by. Make sure you enjoy the gaming social media site that is blowing up. And finally, shout out to... What are you shaking your head, Tricky?
Oh no, I'm watching the Mets game. LA just went up 4-1.
Okay. Shout out to my wife V. Can't wait to spend some time with you next weekend getting our new tattoos. Tricky, you said you had one more thing?
Yeah, I just wanted to remind everybody, Extra Life is coming up. Right now, I don't know that I'm confirmed to be able to do the full 24-hour stream. So with me being out of work, just pay attention. I may break it up to do 2 12-hour streams, probably one before game day, one after game day. Once I get set up at my new place, because for anybody that doesn't know, I'm having to move at the end of the month. So my time on the show and my time in streaming is probably going to be a little limited until I get set up at my new place. So I'm probably going to do a 12-hour stream. So please pop into the Extra Life streams that I do. Pay attention to social medias. If you want to donate to my Extra Life, it's tinyurl.com/TrickyMick2024. And I'm planning to give away some gifts, probably some PSN cards. And it may, if nobody gets it, and nobody has seemed to get it, I may up the secret word up to $300 because nobody seems to have gotten it yet. So that's it for me. Until next week, happy trophy hunting.
Later.
Trophy horse, eject.
The theme song is Venus by the band Even off their album Z. Permission granted by the band and 12 Stone Records. You can find them on Facebook by going to www.facebook.com/evenphilippines.